Hello and welcome to Patty's Art Journals. So today I've decided that I want to do a little bit of a cleanup. I tend to kind of leave, I work on something, I take a photo, things get left out, they get shoved to the side, and they start turning into what I like to call little kitty piles. And they're all over my art room, and I'm just like, sometimes I just need to kind of dive in, attack them, either put them where they need to go or use them in some creative fashion in an art journal. This right here, I'm really not quite sure what this is, other than I've been collecting this stuff for years. This is kind of a place where I've been throwing things, took the box, put it on a shelf, forgot completely about it, and then found it again and thought, you know, it might be time to use some of this stuff. Some of it is like this, it was something that was sent to me in the mail, and maybe a lot of this is. So I thought how fun it would be to start using this little guy that I made. I took this beautiful book apart, and it is one of those things that sat on my shelf forever with nothing in it, and so I grabbed some fun stuff to fill it with out of some of my larger books and made a fun junk journal. Now, I don't like to make my junk journals too terribly thick to begin with, because once I start filling them, they start doing some, you know, I'm going to look for an example real quick. Here's a good example. It doesn't close very well. It doesn't sit on the shelf very easily. Now, I admit that I have pretty much filled it with some pretty fantastically thick stuff, but I love that. But if this had more pages in it, this thing would look like that. So I tend to try to keep them not minimalistic, but at least, you know, to start out with pretty thin. This one actually has some pretty big wires on it, so I could go real thick with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rifle around in my stash, see what happens, just come up with a page or two in here and film while I go. And if I have anything I particularly want to point out or share with you, I'll break in and let you know. Let's get started. So this is just a normal, it's a makeup sponge that I get at you just pick them up at the local pharmacy, drugstore. Okay, well, I try not to overthink it when I'm doing stuff like this, because it gets me nowhere fast, so I'm just kind of winging it on the color, on the stencils. The stencils, I'll put links down at the bottom where you can find those. This one right here is Vicki Boutin, and this one is just kind of some inexpensive one that I got at Hobby Lobby. But I'll put the links down at the bottom for you. If you're new to my channel, I use the wax paper to protect the surface of my brayer from getting glue all over it. I've learned the hard way how hard these are to keep and get cleaned. One of the points of making this particular journal was to have a place to actually do some journaling in. So I have a tendency I just need a larger surface because I always add so many embellishments. I don't usually have enough room for a journaling spot. So I thought it would be kind of cool to go ahead and get the journaling spot in there somehow, and then do all the collage around it, and if it goes in there, that'd be great. So I love this piece. I kind of don't want to cover it up too much. So this is just some tissue paper that I received. I placed an order on Etsy, and she sends her orders with this beautiful tissue paper, and I just love it. See how you can still see just about everything underneath it, just with a little bit of contrast there, just to kind of soften the edges. This is why I don't usually put journaling spots in my work, because just all those angles always kind of throw me a bit, so I like to soften them up. So I'm kind of covering up a lot of area that I would normally be writing in, so I thought it'd be kind of different to just take the little piece that I cut off and add it in as a little more of a journaling area down at the bottom. Because this right here, the beautiful flowers, but that dark kind of yellowish background kind of threw me a little bit, so I thought I felt like I needed to kind of balance this out. I thought it was the perfect piece for this, so I needed to put it in there as far as I was concerned. But this right here was sent to me with some happy mail, and I just think they complement each other beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little guy down. Building layers and covering things up, but I like having small bits popping out here and there. Kind of just gives the page a lot of interest to have so many different layers to look at, especially on a page this size. I feel as if it needs a little, I don't know, I like to mix old with new. There's a lot of oldness in here. Old vintage playing card. This is from a vintage, well, it's not too vintage, but a book. It had a lot of cool Japanese art in it. And this is from a vintage magazine or book. Yeah, I think it's a magazine. And like I said, I like to mix a little bit of old with new to just kind of balance everything out a little bit. Just as a heads up, whether or not I use a glue stick or the adhesive roller, if I'm going to be adhering it to washi tape, I try to use the adhesive roller because it just doesn't seem to stick with the glue stick. On this one, there's enough of, there's just a little bit of washi right there, so it's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and go over everything with the pencil, and then I'm done. A lot going on this page, but super fun. I love the colors that kind of started popping out. I realize that it's like pretty darn busy, but I feel as if there needs to be something up in here. Some sort of decorative feature. Yeah, I'm not sure what that could be. I love this one. The only thing is that it's so much like this tape. That's kind of bugging me. All right, so there you have it. A little bit of area to write on. Not much, but you know, I just had too much fun embellishing, so maybe next time I'll leave myself a little bit more room to write. So there you go. I love that little fish, and that little stamp has needed a home for quite a while. I love that. Oh my goodness. All right. So there you have it, an art journaling page for you. As always, thank you for visiting me at my channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more videos of art journaling like this. Have a great day and see you next time.